Parshas Boy Revi. Dalid. Vayemer Moshe said, Ko'emar Hashem, so said Hashem, Kachatzis halayla niyetzeh b'sech Mitzrayim, at the dividing point of the night, I will go out in the midst of Mitzrayim. So Rashi says, Vayemer Moshe Ko'emar, ba'aldu l'fnei Pari, nemrelei nevuazu. When he stood before Pari, this prophecy was said to him. For after Moshe left Pari's presence, he did not see his face again. What does that mean? When the night is divided. Kachatzeis is like when the meal offering was offered up. When anger was kindled. This is the simple meaning, which fits in context that Chatzeis is not a noun denoting a half. Rabbi Shloimy Greenwald can make Kachatzi alayla. The Chachamim say Kachatzi at about midnight. V'amru Shomer Moshe Kachatzeis Chumash was samach late. By the fun of the Acharev, the Amar Bachatzeis. Moshe said around midnight, not at midnight. Shema Yitu, it's Tagnine Pari V'imru Moshe Badoihi. Because maybe the astrologers are going to make a mistake, and Moshe is a liar. Hey, and every firstborn in the land of Egypt will die. From Pare, from Ad Bechir Hashivcha, until the firstborn of the slave's woman. Asher Achar Rechaim was behind the millstones. And every firstborn animal. Rashi, Ad Bechir Hashvi, firstborn of the cat, why were the captives smitten? So that they would not say, our Avodah was demanded vengeance for their degradation and brought retribution upon Egypt. All those inferior to Pari's firstborn and superior to the slave's woman's firstborn were included. Why were the sons of the slaves stricken? They too were enslaving the Eden and were happy about their misfortune. Because they, the Egyptians, worshipped it. When the Eibishter punishes a nation, he punishes the Avodah Zarah. There's going to be a great cry in the entire land of Mitzrayim. Such as there never has been, and there shall never be again. But to all the children of Israel, not one dog will wet its tongue against either man or beast. In order that he shall know that Hashem will separate between the Egyptians and between Israel. I say this a term meaning sharp. His tongue towards any man of an Israel, he shall not sharpen. Then he will not utter a sharp sound. Toss of the sharp will sharpen a clever person. You being wealth to the hands of the clever ones, sharp merchants. And divide. And all the servants of yours, Eli, come down to me, and they'll bow themselves to me, saying, go out, you and all the people who are at your feet. And afterwards I will go out. And he Moshe exited from Pari with burning anger. All the servants of yours will come down. Moshe showed respect the throne. Because eventually Pari himself went down to him at night and said, he said, get up and go out amongst my people. Although Moshe had not originally said, you will come down to me and bow yourself towards me. Who are at your feet, will follow your advice and go on your way. All the people from your land, and Pari, and he exited from Pari. After he finished, he went out before him. Because he probably said to him, you shall no longer see my face. Hashem said to Moshe, Pari will not listen to you. In order to increase my miracles in the land of Mitzrayim. Rashi says, in order to increase my miracles in the land of Mitzrayim, the plague of the firstborn, the splitting of the Red Sea, and the stirring of the Egyptians. Moshe and Aaron had performed all these miracles before Pari. And Hashem strengthened Pari's heart, and he did not let the Yidden out of Mitzrayim. It has already been written for us in reference to all the miracles. And he did not repeat it here except to tell us to the following section. Perek Yud Beis Pasuk Aleph Yimrashem Moshe Val Aaron Beres Mitzrayim. Hashem spoke to Moshe and to Aaron the land of Mitzrayim, saying, since Aaron had worked and toiled with miracles just like Moshe, he accorded him with the honor at the firstborn commandment by including him with Moshe, including him with Moshe in speech. Outside the city. Krach perhaps is in the city. That's what the Torah says, here, when I leave the city. Even in a prayer, which is of minor importance, Moshe did not pray within the city. So a divine communication, how much more importance. Why did he speak to him in the city? Because it was full of Avodah Zarah. This month shall be to you the head of the month. To you shall be the first of the months of the year. So Hashem showed him Moshe the moon and its renewal and said to him, when the moon renews itself, you will have a new month. Nevertheless, it doesn't leave its simple explanation. Concerning the month of Nisan, it says, this shall be the first of the order of the number of the months. Year will be called Sheni Sivan Shlishi. Moshe found difficulty determining the phrase of the renewal of the moon. What size it would appear, and before it's the headly spell of Kazeri. So he showed him with his finger the moon in the sky and said to him, you must see a moon like this. How did he show him? How did he show it to him? He spoke to him during the day. So Hashem, right before sunset, this parak was said to him, and he showed him the moon when it was dark. Speak to the entire community of Israel, saying, on the 10th of this month, take each celebayis, let each one take a lamb for each paternal home, a lamb for each household. The Aaron speak about like never out of the daber says you shall speak. But Moshe and Aaron would show respect to each other and say to each other, teach me what to say, and the speech would emanate from between them as if they both were speaking. Speak to them Rosh Chodesh that they should take the lamb on the 10th of the month. Pesach, the sacrifice of Egypt, has been taken on the 10th. The Pesach did it, but not Pesach for the old generation. Celebrate always a lamb for each parent, the mishpacha achas for one family. There are numerous. I would think one lamb would suffice for all them. That's what it says, a lamb for the household. But if the household is too small for a lamb, and he and his neighbor who was nearest to his house shall take one according to the number of the people, each one according to one's ability to eat, should be counted for the lamb. And if there are too few to have one lamb, it will become left over, and he and his neighbor shall take. Teaches us that after they recounted, after they registered on a certain lamb, they would diminish the number, withdraw it from it, and be counted with another lamb. If, however, they wish to withdraw and diminish the number, they wish to withdraw, diminish the number, they would do this from the beginning of the lamb. They must diminish the number while the lamb still exists, while it's alive, but not when it's shechted. Amount to your evaluation. One who is fit to eat. Prat l'chilu zaken shein yochal echol kazayis, to exclude a zakar chilu zaken who cannot eat a kazayis. Tachisu tis menun, you shall be counted. Yud setamim zachar ben shana, you shall have a perfect male lamb in its first year. Minakvasim mina'izim tikachu, you may take it either from the sheep or from the goats. Tamim b'leimum. Ben shana kol shnasi kru shana, the entire is called shana. Klemer shanila b'shana zu was born during the year. Minakvasim mina'izim oimizeh shaf eiz koroseh, you can do from both shanim or sa'izim. V'ahi lachem l'mishmeres, and you shall keep it for inspection. Adar bo'os yemechilish hazeh till the 14th. Shachta Yisikol Kaladas Yisol bin Arboy, but everybody shecht it in the afternoon. So Rashi Vayalachem Mishmar Zalashin Bikor. This is an expression of inspection. Shatan Bikor Mimum Arbu Yom Kedem Shchita, that the animal requires an inspection for a blemish 4 days before it's shechting. Now, why was it designed? Why was it designated animal to be taken 4 days before shchita, something not required in the next generations? So Ramas Mechodesh said, because behold, he Hashem says, I passed you and saw you, and behold, your time was a time of love. Shemala b'yisrael shlemer misbiseses b'damayich b'shnei dom v'imre gam at b'dam b'nisich shalachti as sidiyayich v'bein mayim bei v'shtufim be'lilim amar lahem mishchu lachem mishchu yidechem b'lilim mishchu lachem tzei shalom mitzvah. Now, Hashem said, the time of the fulfillment of the oath that I swore to Avram that I will redeem his children has arrived, but the Yidden had no commandments in their hands with which to occupy themselves in order that they be redeemed, as it says, but you were naked and beer. So you get into mitzvahs, the blood of Pesach and the blood of Milah. The Milah themselves on that night, as it says, downtrodden with your blood, with the 2 types of blood. Hashem also states also, ye too, with the blood of your covenant, I have freed your prisoners from a pit in which there is no water. Since the Yidden were passionate about Avodah Zarah, Moshe said to them, withdraw, take for yourself. You meant to withdraw from Avodah Zarah and take for yourself a Shema the mitzvah. Did they all shecht? From here we learn that Kahal Das Yisrael, Kahal Be'edi Yisrael, the congregation, the community of Israel. From here we learn that the communal Passover sacrifices are shechted in 3 distinct groups, one after the other. Nichlas Kas Yeshena, and Anol Dalseis, Ha'azad V'chuli. So once there's 3 groups, once the first group entered, the doors of the Beis Hamikdash were locked. Until the group finished, they were followed by a second group, as says to the Gemara Psachim. Beina Arbayim, Mishesh Shoyes, Elamaya Kolel, and Kara Beina Arbayim, from 6 hours and onwards, it's called Beina Arbayim, Shashem Shneit Lo Bein B'Veila Arav, between the 2 evenings, for the sun is inclined towards the place where it has become dark. Lashon bein arbaim mina beinai isa shoyes shebein Ariva Sayim, Ariva Salayla, Ariva Sayim, B'tchilas Zayin Shoyes Mechirot, Tzuli Erev, Ariva Salayla, B'tchilas Halayla. It seems to me that the expression Ben Arbaim denotes these hours between the darkening of the day and the darkening of the night. The darkening of the day is at the beginning of the 7th hour, when the shadows of evening decline, and the darkening of the night at the beginning of the night. Erev is an expression of evening. Like it says, the altar of darkened. And take the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel, and on the houses in which they will eat. This is kabbalas dam yachal b'yad. You would think with hand, that's why it says basaf. It has to be with the vessel. They are upright posts, one from this side and the entrance, one from the other side. Shekef olav k'shesegen eisei, that is the upper beam against which the door strikes when it's being closed. L'lashon shkifa chavata cells of rallied k'may kil olav nidov shokum chavur mashkifi. Kalabata mashiach la'isa b'hem. Look at the mashka mezuzah sh'mabeis hateva now on the lintel on the doorpost of the house. V'navak she'en darim b'sericha, in which nobody lives. V'achas abasa b'layla azeh, and on the night they shall eat the flesh, it's the eish matzis, roasted over the fire, on unleavened cakes and bitter herbs they shall eat. Trashes of muscle, they give them out some for not give them out summers. Matzah salmarim call Isa marnik mur. Every bitter herb is called mur, but suivam lachel mar zecher limur chayim. Okay, I'll take a little no. Do not eat at rear. Wushel b'mayim. Do not eat at rear or boiled in water. Keeps the eish shall krov al kibri, except roasted over the fire, its head, its legs, and with it in it. Zagash al teifel min no. She'ain slew elot circuit kor no lashon aravi. Something not roasted the fish day is called no. Vashal calls it bazar sal teichlu. Ma'im nai l'shar mashkin tam liver. Vashal mikol makim kim. What's the ish? L'malay goes alav mitzvah sal say. He decreed upon them. So say can he say well they say al teichlu min akim let's say reish val krov. Said he kule kachad min reishi. Im krov im kibri min ma'im leisan l'sechi achas at al-chaset lashon al kibri lashon al tzivasim from b'tzivasim kumei shehin avzu kumei shehin kol psodim shalom. One should roast it completely as one with its head and with its legs and with its innards, and one must place its intestines inside of it after they have been rinsed. The expression al-krov al-kibri is similar to the expression with their hosts, which is b'tzivasim as they are. Which this too means they should roast the animal as is and the flesh complete. Place it in out bacon, and you shall not leave it over until the morning. But it's out baker, but to say for whatever is left over, you have to burn it. So kasha when it's in middle, al baker matam lim ad baker. Why does it say it again? The baker al baker shall baker mashmal mashas and it's a cham bal kasad hak mashas rakil mal is a shachar. So if mashmal by the shachar limit she did this about being told on the machras the front part of the altar the next day. After the shin when it's in a vacation, like a shin time with the sefer, you shall wait until the second morning and burn it. Kalcha teichlo is maslechem chogerichem malechem raglechem makalchem yetchem achaltem is v'chipazim pesach Hashem. This is how you shall eat it. Your loins girded, your shoes and your feet, and your staff in your hand, you shall eat it in the haste, it is a carbon pesach for Hashem. Zakashim is the one on the derech, ready for the way. B'chibazim Hashem b'halam v'hiris, and only haste and speed. Come over, he David nechbes lalachas, and David was hastening. Asher shlicha adam b'chasam, pesach Hashem a korban pesach al Hashem dilik b'afkisa. The korban is called pesach because of the skipping and the jumping over. Because from the Dalig, what you saw me being, but it said, it fits, you saw him saying it was. The carbon is called Pisa because of the skipping and the jumping over, which the Eberster skipped over the Gideon houses that were between the Egyptians' houses. He jumped from one Egyptian to another Egyptian, and the Gideon was between the Seeds. You saw him saying about Fatim is also called with this Lashem Shemaim, do it with Lashem Shemaim, that did the Pizza Zich, Lashmeik, Shakar Pesach. Bavarti, Ibers Mitzrayim, then I will pass to the land of Mitzrayim, this night, I'm going to strike all the firstborns. And upon all the gods of Egypt, I will wreak judgment, says Hashem. Like a king who passes from place to place. And with one passing, in one moment, they are struck and called even one firstborn who are in Egypt will die. And how do you know that even the firstborns of the Egyptians who are in another place will die? To whom you struck the Egyptians with their firstborn. You started the sin first, from him the Parani started. So easily the arts. The one who made of wood will rot, and the one who made of metal will melt and float to the wind. Meaning the arts will float to the ground. As to Shvatim and Hashem, I by myself, and the blood will be for you a sign upon the houses which you will be. And I will see the blood and skip over you. And there will be no plague to destroy you. A case of when you strike the people of the tribes. She shows the man Ben Arbaim from 6 hours and onwards is called Ben Arbaim. She shows a little vein of Arab between the 2 evenings. The sun is applied towards the place. Lashon Ben Arbaim near the main Easter Shosh Ben Aribis. Seems to me that the expression Ben Arbaim denotes the hours between the darkening of the day, the darkening of the night. The darkening of the day is at the beginning of the 7th hour when the shadows of evening decline. The darkening of the night at the beginning of the night. Added Lashon Neshem, Cheshiv is an expression of evening and darkness. Kamei Artificial Simcha. Ve'lachchu min Adam. You should take the blood of Nesel Ashte was this from the mashke, put on the doorpost and on the lintel. Alabat Masher Echel Bahem on the houses on which they will eat Zakashu Lach Von Adam, Zuk Abal Sadam. Yachabidat Hamalim Rashir Basaf. Amazuzis Hemas Kufis Achaz Mikan, the Petzal Achaz Mikan. There the upright poles, one from this side, one from the entrance on the other side. Mashke Ba'ali Shadel Shekif. Allah Kushigan say this is the upper beam against which the door strikes when it is being closed. Lashishkifa Chavatas, the expression of striking, Kamei Kail Island Nidof. The Shakib Chabuna Mashkif Alabata Masharich, Baisam Lela Mashka was Shmenataban and Ben Abak and Arvada Shindam Seche.
So for essentially coming one step.
Okay, Pasik test. Al Teichlu Memenana Uvashum Uvashabamayim, you should not eat rare boiled in water, except it has to be Kim Sliyesh, it has to be roasted over a fire. Reishal Kravav Al Kirbay. Its head with its legs and with its innards. Agrashav Teichel Menana, Shein Tol, Kol Turkey, Herna Blush Arabi, no, something not roasted officially is called no, Ubashul Vushul Kol Zeb Azar Sal Teichel. This is all included in the issue of you shall not eat. But my Minay L'Sharmashkum, how do we know other liquid? Tamalimer, Ubashul Vushul Lekobaka. Kin Sliyesh, the Mila goes, I love Mrs. Afsei. But we decreed upon Mrs. Afsei, now Makan Hesav Lov Leisas, I'll take the Minna Kim Sliyesh. Rishal Krov, Tseleo Kol Kulak Achadim Rishivim Krovim Kirbay. One should roast it completely as one, with its head and with its legs and with its innards. And one must place its intestines inside it after they have been rinsed. So Lashon al Kirbik, Lashon al Tzivesam, expression of al Kroim is an expression with their hosts. Kamei Tzivesam, Kamei Shehin. Afizeh, Kamei Shehin means Kol Psodi Mishalim, all's flesh complete. Pasik Yud, V'leisasim Menu Ad Baker, Vanesim Men Ad Baker Beish Tisreifel, you shall not leave over any of it until morning. Whatever is left over it until morning, you shall burn it in fire. Zogashi, Vanesim Men Ad Baker, Matam Leim Ad Baker, Pamshnia. What is the meaning of until morning a second time? Litin Baker al Baker implies adding one morning to another morning. Shah Baker Mashmoy Mishas Neitzachamo. The first morning means Neitzachama, because of the Hakim Shosar Bachilim, Alais Shachar tells us even from Alais. So if you should Mashmo. In the Shachar Liman Sheni Nisra B'Yim Tov, Alam Machras, you don't burn the leftovers on Yom Tif. The Kafir the Shanam Anis Menu Bekerishan al Baker Sheni Tamim Vitis, which means that you shall wait until the second morning and then burn it. Pasech Chal Yiral V'Kocha say this is how you shall eat it. Masneichim Chagorechem, your loins girded, Alechem B'Raglechem, your shoes on your feet. U'Matlechem B'Yadchem, and your staff in your hand. Achatam Meisi B'Chipazan, you shall eat it in haste. Pesach Chul Hashem as a carbon Pesach. Rashi Masneichim Chagorechem was Zumanim Aderech, ready for your weight. B'Chipazan Lashon B'Halu Mehidus, this is a term that only hastens speed. And David was hastening. Asher Shdicha Aram B'Chovsam, and the Arameans had cast off in their haste. Pesach Chul Hashem, a carbon korban Pesach Hashem Adiluk V'Psicha, the carbon is called Pesach because of the skipping and jumping over it. Shakadosh Baruch Hu Oy Medalag Bat Yisrael Bein Bat Mitzrayim V'Kefes Mitzim L'Mitzri Yisrael Amtzel Limlat. Abish was skipping over the houses, and the houses, between the Egyptians. Yisrael to Nimlat, and the Eden, they got spared. You should perform in this manner, skipping, jumping, commemorating the Korban Pesach, which is called Pesach, expression of like striding over. Pasuk Yud Beis. And I will pass through the land of Mitzrayim this night. And I shall strike every firstborn land of Mitzrayim, from man to behema. And upon all of Hashem's, all the gods of Egypt, I will wreak judgment, says Hashem. It's like a king who passes from place to place. And in one moment, he strikes everybody. Even other firstborns who are in Mitzrayim will die. And we know Egyptians not in there will also die. To him he struck the Egyptians with their firstborn. Start with man because he started the sin first. The one made of wood will rot, and the one made of metal will melt and flow to the ground. Myself, not and the blood will be for you for a sign upon the houses where you will be. And I will see the blood and skip over you. And there will be no plague to destroy you. When you strike the people of Mitzrayim, the blood will be for you a sign, but not a sign for others. From here we learn that the blood, that they put the blood only in the inside. But the fun of everything is revealed to him. Hashem says, I will focus my attention to see that you engage in my commandments, and I will skip over you. Which means I will have pity. Similar to sparing and running away. And I say that every expression of psicha is an expression of skipping and jumping. And I say that he was skipping from the houses of the Eden to the houses of the Egyptians, for they were living one in the midst of the other. Similarly, skipping between two ideas. Pischim walk is jumping. Jump.
Why were they living among each other?
The Goyim?
It's like they were slaves, right?
Right.
Why would they be living among the same house? And like we know they had the videos of what's called.
Right. So good question. And there were no plagues to destroy. But there will be a plague upon the Egyptians. Now let us say that the Egyptians was in the Eden's house. I would think that they would escape. That there will be no plague upon you. But there will be a plague upon the Egyptians in your houses. Let us say that the Yid was in the Egyptian's house. I would think that he would get stricken like him. That's what it says, and there will be no plague upon you. Pasuk Yudal and this day shall be for you as a memorial. You shall celebrate as a festival to Hashem. Throughout the generations, you shall celebrate everlasting. You shall celebrate it. So Zikaron for generations. The day that is a memorial for you, you shall celebrate. We don't know which day it is. Remember this day when you went out of Mitzrayim. Lamadna teaches us. We learn on the day of the Exodus as the day of the memorial. What day is that? This is the 15th. Because we know the 15th, the night of the 15th, they ate the Korban Pesach, and in the morning they went out of Mitzrayim. I learned this, that the smallest number of generations is 2. You shall celebrate an everlasting statue. Pasuk Tezvav, you shall eat matzahs for 7 days. But on the pristine day, you shall clear away all the chametz from your house. Ki chol oichel chametz. Anybody who eats chametz, v'nichas anefesh ha'im yisrael. Anybody who eats chametz will get kares. V'yem adishon ad yem hashvi, from the first day to the 7 days. Zogash v'shivas yamim. Shal yamim, which means like a group of 7 days. Shivas yamim matzes techelu makam makro im sheish yom techel matzes. Another place it says you shall eat matzahs for 6 days. Limud al shvi shal pesach she'nechel lacham matzahs. It teaches us on the 7th day there's not a chiyuv to eat matzah. V'ashli yechel chametz, as long as you don't eat the chametz. Minai and af shishu b'rishus. How do we know that the other 6 days is the rishus? Tamlem sheish yom. Zoom media potato. Davar shei b'chlav yatzim in a klal lamed li lamed asmei b'vad yatzei lamed al klal yakuli yatzei mashvi rishus af shishu rishus yochel af alayla rishus. So that teaches us that the rest of the days is just the rishus. I would think maybe the first day is also the rishus. After the Torah says, "Tamlim be'erev techel matzos akosu kol cheved." In the evening you shall eat matzahs. The Torah establishes as an obligation the first day. Ach be'emadishin tashbisu se'ed me'erev Yom Tov. On the day before Yom Tov, a kar rishon lefishu lefnei hashvi. Why is it called the rishon? Because it's before the 7th. And matzina b'muktam kar rishon, har rishon adam tival. We find that anything that is preceding one day is called rishon. Like it says, were you born before Adam? Maybe perhaps it means the 7 days. That's what the Torah says. You should not shech the carbon as long as the chametz is there. When the person eats the chametz while he is with his soul and his knowledge, pratla honest, to exclude one who commits the sin under onus, under coercion. I can understand that it's the soul will be cut off from the Eden and will be able to go to another place. So I would think that. Which means before me from every place that is in my domain, which means everywhere. And on the first day there shall be a holy, should be holy. And on the 7th day you shall be holy. You shouldn't do any work. But what is eaten by any soul, that alone may be performed for you. Mikra is a noun. Call it the day holy with regard to eating, drinking, or clothing. I feel like they're even through others. Which means not Erev Yom Tov, not preparations they could do before Erev Yom Tov. Even for animals, you would think for them, for you. You should guard the matzahs. For this very day, the essence of this day, I took out the legions out of the land, the Eden out of Mitzrayim. You shall observe this day throughout your generations as an everlasting statute. Make sure it does not become chametz. Then from here, the Chachamim derived that if dough started to swell, the woman rolling it must moisten it with cold water. Aisha learns, don't read as hamatzis, but as mitzvahs. Just as we may not permit the matzahs to become chametz, so too we may not permit the commandments to become leavened. But if a mitzvah comes into your hand, perform it immediately. From work. Since generations and everlasting statutes were not stated in regards to the issue of doing work, but only with regards to celebration of the Chagigal. You would think only that generation, is telling every generation. On the first month, on the 14th day of the month in the evening, you shall eat matzahs until the 21st of the month in the evenings of Rashi. It already tells me 7 days. How do we know about night? It teaches me night as well. For 7 days early, you should not have chametz in your house. Whoever does have chametz will get kares. How do you know outside? Like you will not be chayiv. to get Kardas on the yeast. We know the Eilish already stated. I would think maybe sir which is not Lachi, you don't get V'Yamana serve the Anish Chametz, so you say here, sir Shu Chametz Achim Anish Alav, Chametz Shenim Chametz Achim Le'Anish Alav. But maybe I would think that he's not that causes others to become chametz, but for eating chametz which is not leaven others, I would think he doesn't get punished. L'kach lemer shneim Agar ve'ezrach Lefisha Nes Nasli. So since the miracle was performed to the Yidin, Hutzach l'Rabbis Sagirim, you have to include the Girim. Pasachov, last pasach. Kol machmetzes le'seichel, you should not eat any chametz. The Chumash ve'seichem throughout all the dwellings. Teifel matzah shouldn't eat matzah. Rashi machmetzes le'seichel azar al achila seir. This is a warning against eating seir. Kol machmetzes lahavias hatarubas, to conclude the tarubas comments. The Chumash ve'seichem zebal lamish tevirui la'achal b'chumash ve'seichem. This teaches us that the matzah must be fit to be eaten in all your dwelling places. Prat l'ma'aser sheni b'chal teda. This excludes ma'aser sheni and matzahs that accompany a teda, which are not fit to be eaten in the dwelling places, but only in Yerushalayim. Okay.
Right, yes.